This video is for first-time buyers. If you are a first-time buyer and you're just starting to dip your toe into the real estate market, you probably don't really know what to expect, what to do next. And the purpose of this video is to just give you an overview of what you are getting yourself into, okay? I talk to a lot of first-time buyers and I feel like we usually just like dive into this conversation about their home search, and then later I figure out how much um, like is missing in their knowledge base around what it means to buy a home. So that's why I decided, hey, I'm just going to put together a quick little video and give the basics for clients so that if they don't have time or they're not in a space where they can sit down and kind of absorb what it means to start your home search, they can reference this video and do a little bit of learning. So this is probably going to turn into a series because there's so much information to think about when it comes time to buying a home. So first things first, if you are out there on websites looking at properties, you might start getting a lot of calls from realtors. So a lot of those big websites, Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, they're marketing platforms for realtors. So they're drawing information from the multiple listing service. And then if you're registered on their site or if you click that you're interested in a property, your information is getting sold. So someone is going to contact you. You're going to start getting calls. And if you're not ready to start that search, then I would recommend staying off those big websites and like sticking to a website through the RMLS that isn't going to be marketing your information. Or, just start with finding a realtor that you trust and having them set up a search for you so that you can see properties without going onto those platforms where you might become a product that's being sold, The second thing is, when it comes time to look at properties, a lot of people just want to dive right in. But it's very important to know how much you're qualified to borrow. So finding a lender and going through that pre-approval process, having your credit run, doing the loan application, you really need to have that letter of pre-approval on hand before you even go start shopping properties. Especially in this climate with COVID and whatnot. If a seller is opening up their property for buyers to come see it, they're expecting that qualified buyers are the ones who are going to come shopping. So what we don't want to have happen is that you are shopping properties and you fall in love with one, you want to write an offer, but you don't have that letter of pre-approval. So let's say if that happens, best case scenario, you can do a loan app. It takes about 45 minutes. And then if a lender is reviewing everything and thinks that you're qualified for that purchase, then awesome, let's do it. Buy the house, put in an offer at least. But what if your offer is accepted and the seller takes the house off the market, and then a day or two later you find out, oh, I'm not approved. I'm not qualified to borrow that much. Dang it. And now the seller is back on the market and they've lost time marketing and they might be mad. So just as a courtesy, it's always best to have that pre-approval out of the way first. Secondly, I know you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste realtors' time. You don't want to waste sellers' time. So knowing what price point you really need to stay at is super important. I get a lot of calls from people who are like, yeah, I really, I'm looking for a home on 5 to 10 acres. My budget, I think, is like $700,000, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking around the RMLS, seeing what's out there. And then I start asking questions like, okay, well, what do you want your monthly payment to look like? And how much down are you anticipating making? And typically what I see happen at that point is that there's a vast difference here in expectations from what your payment would be if you're buying a house for $700,000 and what your payment would be if you want what your mortgage would be if you want your payment to be $1,700 a month and you only have $10,000 to put down. So there's a lot of really easy apps to use for mortgage calculators that I'd recommend taking a look at if you want to get a ballpark of what you might qualify for without talking to a lender first. I have a great app. It's through Chicago Title, and it's pretty accurate because it's drawing off of local tax information. So just shoot me a note if you want me to run a quick little calculator for you to figure out what you might qualify for. But you also would still then have to qualify for it. So talking to a lender, they're going to be looking at the past 2 years of your taxes. They're going to look at your current employment. They're going to look at your debt to income ratio. They're going to look at your credit score. And the better your credit score, the better your interest rate. The more money you're putting back down, the better your interest rate. And the better your interest rate, the more you qualify to borrow because your payment will be lower. So all things to think about before you're even starting that home search, really where your feet on the ground looking at properties. So that's pretty much it. Just a quick little message about how to start this process. One, I really would encourage you to stay away from those big websites. If you aren't quite ready, because you will get a lot of calls from agents who want to sell you a house. And two, talk to a lender. One more point about lenders. There are so many lenders out there. There's so many realtors out there. There are so many lenders out there. So what I want to tell you is like, yes, you can use your bank. If you bank at IQ Credit Union, awesome. Go talk to the lender there. If you bank at Chase, awesome. Go talk to the lender there. However, big banks, like they're only going to sell you their product. So they might only have loan products that are for, I don't know, like certain interest rates or different programs versus a mortgage broker who can shop like the whole mortgage market for a lot of different kinds of programs. So and your banker at your local branch might not know about all the options that are out there to explore. So just the same way, like you shop around for a car, like you should shop around for a lender and make sure that you're getting the best deal on your interest rate because you're talking about like, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're borrowing, and over the life of the loan, it will make a huge difference. So just be careful there. Shop around. If you want some lender recommendations, I have a couple of trusted local lenders that I refer to all the time that I've closed a lot of deals with and that I highly recommend. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a quick little intro of if you are interested in starting your home search, where I think you should start so that you have a better opportunity to get into it without wasting a bunch of your own time and being successful. Let me know what questions you have, and I'm sure I'll do another one of these little videos soon.